Tony Robbins once said that setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Yet, studies have shown that only 8% of people actually achieve goals that they set out for, and even fewer write their goals down. Goals are defined as the object of a person's ambition or effort, or an aim or desired result, according to Oxford. However, this keeps a lid on goals too tightly. Goals should not only be set for persons or individuals, but rather, well, anything. Your team at work, your finances, your family, or even your cat. There are two great frameworks that I would encourage anyone to leverage across a variety of situations, but first we must observe the philosophy of goal setting theory to begin with. That is linking your goals with your motivations. This drives all the way back to Aristotle proposing that purpose drives us into action. At a glance, this seems empowering as we can uncover our ability to adapt our actions to achieve the goals we set, and what we become as we pursue them. However, when you take it one layer deeper to motivation rather than just the goal target, it exposes an intricacy that drives reasoning or rationalization behind your goals. This can be extremely empowering in helping one filter out their goals. For example, if you look at a point in your life where you hate reading, then set a goal of reading one book a month is not going to change that, and you should not torture yourself to get there. When the season comes and that goal makes sense to you, and you have the interests and the rationalization to do so, then go for it. But until then, maybe consider something else. So let's investigate the two frameworks that have helped me set realistic, achievable goals over the past decade and will continue to do so looking into the future. First, we have SMART goal setting. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific can usually be addressed with the W's. What is it I want to do? Why is it important to me? Who is going to be involved? Is it just me, or is it my cat? Where will it occur? At home, at work, or somewhere else? And which resources or limitations are implied? As far as measurable goes, it gets down to the prospect of applying a number to your goal. Is it increasing your revenue by 100 million? Is it saving 15% a month for retirement? Is it losing 15 pounds? Now this applies broadly, but there are goals that are a little more amorphous and tend to be difficult to measure. For example, my goal on YouTube, I have this literally written down on a sticky note next to my monitor, is to enable others to make their best contributions to the world. And while I haven't found out a way to measure it yet, I imagine it will unveil itself in the form of commenters sharing their stories of how they smashed that like and subscribe button because they got so much value out of this video and my other ones. So what about achievable? How realistic is this goal we're setting? How much are we stretching here? Now this is one that drives a lot of debate and it's going to get blown out with the other methodology that I present in this video, but it does have a key use here. If you are constrained in some way, whether that be financially, physically, or otherwise, then you need to factor that into whatever goal you're setting. In other words, do not try to make 1,000 pancakes in an hour if you don't have any flour in the cupboard. Then we look to relevancy. This strikes back to the philosophy mentioned earlier, that you really have to ask yourself, is this worthwhile, at the moment, for me? And sometimes that answer is simply no, and that's okay. Time-bound is another interesting one because you do not want this goal to drag on forever as it may never be failable. I use failure sparingly here, but really if you cannot set something to achieve, you cannot fail at all, and that will not drive growth. But at the same time, yes, I do subscribe to the failure is only giving up and not taking another swing camp. So take this piece with a grain of salt as well. So that's it. Get smart. Do you want to retire with $2 million in the bank or investments at the age of 55? Do you want to lose 20 pounds this year? Do you want your department to clock 100 million in revenue in the first half of the year? Put some thoughts into your goals, apply your situational factors and constraints, and write them down. If you do not meet your goals, reflect, adjust, and set new ones. The other approach to goals is overreaching with a framework like the 10x rule. It is as simple as it sounds. How many people that have made $1 million said that the first 100,000 was the hardest? The underlying message here being that if you aim to make 10 times whatever goal you have, then getting the first 1/10 is the only real challenge, and the remaining is just the next step along the way. But we must not forget that we also need to crank up our actions 10 times as well along the way. So what do you want to reach for? I mentioned $2 million in the bank or investments for retirement by 55 earlier. Well, if you aim for 20 and you only hit 10 million, I think you're still doing all right. So those are some fundamental approaches to goal setting that anyone can apply to almost any situation. Get out there and get achieving. Be kind, work smart, and help others. If you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more professional development content, and feel free to comment any questions below. Bye.